Bernot. What's this about a cooking challenge?
Well, we're all quarantined, sheltering in place, and you may or may not have all the ingredients you might need. The challenge obviously was loaded in my favor because I suggested Alfredo, and I just happen to have all the things I need for Alfredo. So this will be an easy challenge for me.
That's okay, because I have the ability to chop and change on my side.
Yeah.
Now, we have been quarantined for a number of days, so I have no milk, I have no cheese.
Oh.
I do have pasta, and I do have a bunch of other ingredients which may be of assistance to me.
Well, first and foremost, the main ingredient you got to have, to do any kind of cooking competition is going to be beer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
And
I better get a glass. Everybody's going to want to see this.
The great thing about being quarantined and of an older generation is all your nieces and nephews are concerned about you. And here in San Diego, a lot of the breweries are giving reduced growler fills and crawlers at like 25% off because they've got a lot of beer in their tanks and they don't have a lot of foot traffic. So
that's pretty amazing. We have not had those dramatically reduced prices. But Oregon has considered liquor stores and breweries as an essential business.
Yeah, they're making natural, disinfectants. So.
Oh yeah, yep.
But
so what are you putting in that glass?
So my niece called me last night. She said, "Hey, Uncle Si, I happen to be over at Society. And they've started canning, which is kind of a new thing for them. I don't know how long they've been canning. And they've got this Session IPA just canned a week ago. And she wanted to know if I wanted to try it. And she picked me up a 6-pack and brought it on over. And for that, I paid her in pizza. So this is the Coachman. It's a Session IPA. It's barely a Session IPA. It's at 4.9%, I think. 4.9%. Hoppy and light, intense peach and citrus hop aromas, plus a low ABV make this 2-time Beerfest Gold Medal winner a definitive Session IPA. And I got to say, I had one of these last night. It's definitely doesn't feel like a Session IPA. I mean, they've done something to get the body up on this. It doesn't feel thin at all.
On that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful little beer. Society's always been a great little brewery. I'm glad they're still around. They do have kind of, I guess, a particular style to the brewery. Like all of their IPAs kind of have the same theme, citrus, piney. It's West Coast style IPAs, but they do a lot with the hops, and they do very greatly. And I am getting lots of citrus, lots of lemon, some orange, little grapefruit. Not so much piney. It's mostly just citrus. And a little bit of maybe that peach is there. I couldn't find it last night, but there's that kind of like dry mango aroma to it, but only slightly. Yeah, great little beer. Crystal clear, nice head.
Now, do you consider citrus to be more of a session beer than pine flavors are?
I'm a big fan of either. The session for me, it's usually a sad little thin beer. This is not that. This is definitely something you can sit down and enjoy. A glass of and not get a total buzz off of, and you don't feel like you were cheated in any way.
Oh, lovely. I picked up Decadent Ales Coconut Almond Macaron. This is an IPA with coconut, almond, and sugar. It's 8.2% ABV.
No.
I have no idea where Decadent Ales is. We got this at Smith's Bayway Market down the street, which is our local bottle shop, and they carry an enormous range of beer, which is constantly changing through. We absolutely adore it. It doesn't have much of a head, but
it's lighter than I
yellow color, hazy.
I actually expected that to be more along the lines of a brown ale or a porter.
Me too. Well, it's an IPA, so I was expecting like an IPA-ish, but I wasn't expecting the hazy straw yellow color. And the head's sticking around, which is weird. Okay, I'm getting pineapple off it. Lots of pineapple and mango. I get no coconut. Maybe a hint of almond off the aroma. Nope, there it is.
Almond
and cookie.
Yeah.
The head is trapping all the aroma.
Well, there's an easy fix for that.
Still lots of pineapple in the flavor, but man, there is lots of cookie. Coconut. Cookie. Nuttiness, although I'm not sure if it's almond or more walnut pecan. And a pretty bold bitterness to back it up. I can't find the IBU on this anywhere. And there's no mention of what hops they use. It's actually pretty delicious. And I better be careful with it because I haven't eaten yet.
Oh, well, maybe we should cook something. Yeah, there's no IBU on this either. If I had to guess, I'd say it's 65, 70 maybe. It's a pretty hefty IBU. It's got a nice little bitter backer on the end. I think that really also...
at least a 70, 75, if not into the 80s with this.
Yeah, it might actually be lower than that because traditionally with a beer that with this much flavor, you would expect a higher ABV and get a little sweetness off the alcohol that would kind of crush down some of that bitter. So maybe with the lower ABV, this is actually maybe only a 55 or 60 IBU, but it really comes across like a legitimate IPA. It is a legitimate IPA, but you know, I'm kind of biased against session ales. I've just not had any great ones, and this by far is a great one. I know
session beers don't usually have that big hoppiness that you like.
Yeah, and it's I know one of the few places was Acoustic Ales, which unfortunately we didn't get to visit because they outgrew their capacity. But they did make a lot of like 4.5% ABV, highly hoppy, highly flavorful, aromatic IPAs, and that's why I really like that place.
Shall we start?
I'm kind of curious how you're going to handle not having any cheese.
Well, the vegans will both love me and hate me for this.
Okay. Substitution is your key.
Because here is my secret ingredient.
I cannot tell what that is.
You can't tell at all? These are red beans and leeks.
Beans and leeks. That sounds like an interesting episode of something.
Now, I usually use these in little Mexican bean pancakes. They're extremely good and extremely spicy. And And instead of like an American fluffy pancake, they have a really good meaty texture to them. But one of the things I discovered is that the color of red beans is not the color you'd expect. The color that red beans actually give you is white.
Oh, because the flesh is actually white and it's just the outer, yeah.
So I've discovered it actually makes a pretty good textural element, and it combines well with other ingredients to make a thicker sauce. I haven't tried it with leeks. I've tried it with onions. So we'll see how it goes with the leeks.
Yeah, the starch should help thicken up your sauce some. So
lots and lots of protein. But I do have, is this my secondary super secret ingredient? Pork fat.
Oh.
Here's why the vegans will hate me.
All right. Well, I guess we're going to have to start with the fat, right? Because that goes in first.
Lola said that she thought the beans were bugs.
Yeah, leeks and bugs. Yeah.
Well, I'm not against using bugs. Oh, look at that. He breaks out the butter.
Yep. Real butter. Unsalted. Real butter. Only 2 more of these left in the fridge.
Oh, is your supermarket running low too?
Well, here's a pro tip. If you do find yourself in need of dairy items or eggs or whatnot, and you go to the supermarket in the afternoon and the shelves are completely empty, the pro tip is go very first thing in the morning, like 5:30, 6 o'clock, when they when there's hardly anybody there. That's when the dairy delivery usually comes for most stores.
Here's a second pro tip. If you're shopping at Winco, they will reopen the store right after they finish restocking the shelves. That's usually about 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Go right then. Mm-hmm. 5 a.m., 6 a.m. in the morning. Usually they're 24 hours, but now they've shut down some of the stores for restocking to protect the people that are restocking the shelves and give them a chance to disinfect everything.
Yeah, all this panic buying is kind of silly because the chickens aren't going to stop laying eggs. The cows are not stop giving milk.
Nope.
There's the supply chain's intact.
That's right.
These stores, people come in and they buy, 40 dozen eggs, and it's silly. It's positively silly. So
absolutely. And I did these beans in the Instapot. If you pressure cook your beans, keep the bean water. Don't throw it out.
Starch, yeah.
It provides a lot of the really good flavors, especially if you're making a sauce like I am. I'm going to put this in a blender. You just put it right back in the right amounts, and it'll give you fantastic texture.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started here and melt my butter. So we just want a low heat in our saucepan, and you want. I'm not measuring anything because there's really no reason to measure any of this. It's all to taste. It's all to look and feel. You know what you like, and just kind of go with that. I'm going to put in what we're going to call a knob of butter. Maybe, I don't know, tablespoon and a half. Just enough to kind of get going. And we're just going to set that in the pan, let it melt.
And loud noise. Ooh, requires more liquid.
Okay, butter's melted.
Definitely turned it a very dark color. But it is Just a bit gloppy, like I like it.
And butter's melted. You don't want to brown it. You just want to wait until it's turned liquefied and throw it on the heat. You want the heat pretty low at this point, because what we're going to do is we're going to get our cream, which we don't have. Where's our cream?
And very many Alfredos are required to have a generous amount of garlic.
Oh yes, I'm definitely in the generous area for the garlic. You want to make sure if you do have whole cream or heavy whipping cream is what I've got here. It is ultra pasteurized, but it's not homogenized. So usually you get like a cap of fat that sits up on the top if it's stored this way. I kind of like that little cap of fat. It's really good. It's like pure butter fat. It's really good in cooking. But in this case, we really just want, everything mixed together well. So we're going to give it a good shake. And we're going to start off with our garlic in the butter and just give that a little bit of time to kind of soften. You're not really cooking the garlic as much as just softening it. You don't want to brown it. You just want a little bit of bubblage in there. And I'm only using half my garlic. I've got 5 cloves of raw garlic and 1 clove of roasted garlic. And
I scored at Fred Meyer. I scored. I got 3 whole heads, and this is the last one.
When I'm doing things like Alfredo and peppers, garlic and peppers, in just about any sauce I make, I like to layer the flavors. So I like to use a little bit of raw garlic, a little bit of roasted garlic, because you get some sweetness from the roasted garlic and you get that bite from the raw garlic. Same thing with peppers. I like to use multiple different kinds of peppers, get that heat in your mouth, in the back of your throat, and down in your stomach. And we're just going to dump in, I don't know, maybe a cup and a half. We'll call that a cup and a half, maybe 2 cups of cream. And we're just going to kick her heat up just a little bit.
Unlike Sai, I very rarely use butter for my cooking. I use lots and lots of olive oil.
Olive oil, yes. Olive oil is another good choice. I did some B-roll earlier today, highlighting the ingredients that I kind of had that I could make this from. And yeah, if you don't have the garlic, this is another good choice. It's infused olive oil infused with garlic. I like to keep this on hand. It's great to zhuzh up your pizza or fries or pretty much anything.
So what did you say that again? Preserved garlic?
No, it's so we buy these big tins of already peeled garlic over at the Vietnamese market.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a couple of bucks. You get, a couple good handfuls of garlic out of that. And we don't always go through it in time, because you put it in the fridge and it'll last for, a week, maybe week and a half. Yeah. And then they start looking a little scary. When they start to turn, we'll go ahead and clean them up, cut the ends off, get any bad spots off, give it a good clean, a good wash. And then we just seal it up in a canning jar with a good, that's the important thing. You want a good quality olive oil. You don't want the half olive oil, half canola oil. You want legitimate olive oil, good quality, first press, virgin olive oil. Seal it up in there, and then I just throw it in a sous vide bath when I'm cooking something else. Get it up to about 180, 190 degrees for about 30 minutes to an hour. Your garlic will become nice and tender and sweet. And all that nice garlic flavor will infuse the oil. So you get, 2 products for one. You get that nice roasted garlic that you can use in all kinds of things, and you also get the olive oil, which you can use on all kinds of things.
Which is flavored by the garlic.
Yep. Another thing I like to throw in there from time to time is some red chili. Red chili in the oil with the garlic. Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Killer.
In some chilies today, I've decided I'm going to use a little bit of ginger.
Ooh.
Try to give it a little bit of sweetness that way to kind of cut through the fat I'm going to use.
And pretty much all I'm doing is just kind of tending my cream. You want it to come up to a pretty much a simmer, barely a boil. You don't want to really scald it. You got to really keep your eye on it too, because it'll get away from you quick. And all we're looking to do here is kind of condense it down a bit. And I'm going to go ahead and start my water for my pasta. Once this goes, it doesn't take long. It's the other thing I like about Alfredo. It's a good quick one.
And I put this, this is actually the top layer of a shoulder, and I put this top layer on the grill last night, so it still has some teeny tiny little bits of meat in there.
Num nums.
Num nums.
And also I'm going to add like maybe yay much black pepper.
Oh, Lola, I'm wearing a backpack because I have to use my phone to hear the broadcast, and I don't have any pockets. So my phone is in the backpack.
Sneaky. What she's not telling you too is, she's got Alton Brown in her on speed dial there on her phone for when she gets into trouble there.
I wish I had Alton Brown on speed dial. Man, he would hate the way I organized my fridge.
Oh, you did not watch it then. He did a live broadcast about not quite a week ago. And that's kind of where the entire idea for this show came up. It was just him and his wife in their kitchen, and it is nothing like the Good Eat set. It's very much like everybody else's kitchen. I mean, he's got, half-eaten things in the fridge, some things that have gone bad, and things aren't organized well. It was great to watch. It was really great to watch that.
Oh my God, the smell of garlic.
Now here's another pro tip: if you're making Alfredo and all you had was milk, you get the milk to where it's just barely boiling, and you put your fettuccine in the Alfredo sauce and allow it to pull the moisture out of the milk. That cooks the pasta, and the pasta also sloughs off and gives up a little bit of starch to help thicken your sauce.
I tried that once, but I think because it was such a high-fat milk that it just didn't work very well, and it wound up way too thick.
Oh, way too thick. Yeah, that can happen too. And you can just back sweeten it. You can just put a little more milk back in there to thin it out, or butter, or water for that matter.
I try not to mix fats and other ones too much. It can get tricky. So if I was going to do a milk sauce, I'd add more milk. I try not to add water.
The other way you can do this too is just with a roux. You make a basic bechamel sauce out of it.
Well, this already smells wonderful. I just want to eat right out of the pot. Garlic, ginger, and pork fat.
Oh. Yeah, the garlic is smelling really good right now.
Oh, Tony, you can make this with ramen. You can make this with ramen.
Sure, you could.
It is perfectly acceptable.
Any noodle will do. And I mean, if you're trying to do like a keto thing, you don't even need to use noodles. You could use like some spiral cut spaghetti squash or zucchini or something along those lines. Yeah. And it all depends on what you have on hand. I kind of cheated this one because I knew what I already had, and it was like, oh, let's make Alfredo. That'll be easy.
So do you have your noodles cooked already?
No, that's what's going on in here. They're coming up to a boil.
I hate having noodles sit around for a long time.
Same here.
I can hear our producer's stomach rumbling from here.
It does permeate the air, does it not?
My large chunks of garlic to soften up. Normally, I'd be using very large amounts of caramelized onion in this, but I decided I've been using so much onion lately, I just take a chance and leave it out this time.
Well, it's your sauce can be whatever you want to make it. I'm making, and I'm gonna use the term loosely, a traditional Alfredo, but as my Italian friend tells me, Alfredo is not really a thing. That is not something that they have in Italy. It's completely made up, like fortune cookies.
Fortune cookies.
Yeah. So now I'm starting to get a little bit of stickage to the sides of the pot, and I'm starting to see it's thickening, and we're just gonna go with a spoon. You get a nice little line in your spoon, you're there. Oh yeah. So at this point, we're going to add in the rest of our garlic. And we're going to turn the heat all the way down as far as it'll go, maybe even turn it off at this point.
And it's odd how the leeks have actually changed the color of this to a dark brown.
And we're going to go in with some Parmesan. And the main thing you're doing here is just melting the cheese into the sauce.
And now, because this is so thick, I need to actually thin it up a little. And I need to account for the tang of the cheese that isn't there. So, my little friend, this is the remnants of a can of artichokes. Artichoke water is really good for replacing tang in recipes.
Oh, really?
It is. It is amazing.
I think my sauce is just about there. My water's just come up to a boil.
I'm going to keep this front one on because I have to prepare my meat. And I actually did find some chicken. Bernot.
Uh-oh. I don't have any chicken. This is going to be Sad meatless dish. Well, I take that back. I do have some chicken in the freezer, all set up for yakisoba. So I'll be making some yakisoba later this week, probably.
I'm gonna wash this.
And the whole goal this week and next week is to just get through without having to go back to the store for anything.
That's true. I'm in really good position with meat. I got a huge 40-pound box of chicken in at the beginning of the month. I still have about 10 pounds of pork shoulder to cut through. So I'm fine on meat. What I'm going to miss is the fresh veg.
Well, we've got the little flower store down the street. Tomatoes, potatoes.
Unfortunately, we'd have to go all the way to either the place where we get both vegetables, or to Fred Meyer or to Safeway.
Yeah.
Can't do that until the 26th. We can't leave until the 26th.
We don't really have there's no date on our quarantine, but
no, we decided for ourselves that 2 weeks was a good idea coming back from San Diego, because we'd been to the scale.
Oh yeah. Well, and all in to a couple of museums as well.
That's true. There were a lot of people there.
Oh, Dish is doing a free preview of Showtime, and I got to looking at the movies last night, and Phantom is on there, so I've got that queued up for probably later tonight.
Oh,
How was your rewatch of Master and Commander?
Oh, I love that movie. Oh man, it took me right back to walking on the ship. It was
Okay.
Oh, Tony, only 24 minutes into the stay-at-home order. Oh. Rola's cooking fish today. And I still go by the old 2 dry ounces for kids, 4 ounces each for adults.
No, I do a handful.
Generally, I wind up about a half an ounce over. That's okay.
The great thing to living with so many people is, even when you have leftovers, they don't hang around long.
No.
I made 3 pizzas last night, and there's absolutely no pizza left in the house.
Okay, that is your pizza. I don't think your pizza would ever go uneaten.
Well,
your pizza.
My niece came and brought me a 6-pack of beer. It seemed only right that she should have a couple of slices, and then also take a few home for her husband. So
exactly. You're a generous and kind person.
Yeah, I can always make
I'm getting more flavors as this warms up. I'm getting a lot more nuts off it. Like, it's much more macaron now than it was before.
Oh, on the beer, yeah. Mine's pretty much stayed pretty steady. It hasn't evolved very much. It is getting a little more lemony. It's picking up a little more tart flavor. But it's otherwise it's pretty much the same flavor profile. And this cheese sauce is done. Nice and thick. That should stick to the pasta well. And I'm also very much a timer person when it comes to pasta.
Oh.
Everybody hates that because it's never done at the right time, but that always just keeps me from overcooking it. I can handle undercooked pasta, but overcooked pasta is just nah.
Well, I'm going to try not to set off everybody's G device.
Oh, I have headphones.
Hey Google, set a timer for 10 minutes.
Sneaky.
Okay, 10 minutes. Starting now.
You phoned a friend.
I'm really sorry if I set your home off. Chewy pasta. Yeah, I hate chewy pasta too, Lola. It's. I actually don't like al dente. I like it really soft.
Well, I like to. I do like mine al dente, but I typically will cook my pasta to the point where it's al dente, put it in the sauce, and then let it leach out any more water than it needs from the sauce, thickening the sauce and
Mm-hmm.
usually getting you perfect pasta. If it's not perfect, just let it set in a warm place, like keep it warm and covered, and it'll get to the point where you like it.
That's usually when it reaches al dente state, I shut it off and keep it in the hot water.
Yeah.
And it's perfect by the time I'm ready.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. If you're doing if you're cooking with condensed milk, your condensed milk will thicken a little bit, but not a lot. What you can do is you can take some of your pasta water and just put a few spoonfuls, maybe like a ladle's worth in there, and that starch will bind with the milk fat that's in the evaporated milk and really give it a lot more mouth feel.
Oh.
Yeah, it so looks good. I have a feeling I forgot something. No, I didn't forget anything. We're good.
Chilies?
I think we're good.
You forgot to get out another beer.
No, I'm good on this one so far.
I'm gonna have to wash this board again.
I hope you're not done with your beer already, or you will be sleeping by the end of the show.
I'm not. I am an enormously slow drinker. I actually hate going out social drinking sometimes because I drink so slowly that everybody else will be through about 4 or 5 before I'm done with my first.
Isn't that what they told us to do? Is go out social drinking?
See, that's how I avoid social situations. Sorry, I can't go out with you. I drink too slow.
Are you feeling socially distant from your friends?
No, because all my friends are online. Alrighty, now I'm gonna start. And that pan looks awfully small and hot. Come hither, big pan. I'm gonna use another piece of garlic to cook this chicken with, but I'm gonna use the whole clove because I don't want the little bits in with the chicken. I only want the flavor of it. After I'm done with it, I will actually put this with the scraps I have in the freezer to make broth with it. Take the opportunity while that's warming up to put the chicken in a container and wash the cutting board.
That's yet another thing too. If you don't have noodles, you can actually make noodles. Very simple to make.
Oh, it is. You just take a couple of handfuls of flour, you crack an egg into it, and you keep adding flour until it makes dough. Roll it out, cut it into strips, and toss it in some water. How do you do it, Si?
But basically, same way. Make a little nest with the flour. Throw in your egg. Maybe a little water. And it's it all depends on where you want your dough and how fast you want your dough. If you're not using any water, just egg and flour, wrap it up in some saran wrap, and just let it hydrate. And roll it out, cut it up, straight into the hot water. Pasta. Let's see where we're at here.
Here's one of the things I love being a brewer. I have plenty of IOStar sanitizer to use on my bamboo cutting board right after I cut meat on it.
All right. Pasta needs a minute or two more, I think. Yeah. It's not there yet.
I can see that little garlic clove sizzling now. So there we go. Occasionally, I will forget the garlic is in there, and somebody gets a surprise with dinner. You do need to be careful if you're cooking with beans, because the beans can stick on the bottom very, very quickly. It's coming up the temperature very nicely, and it's not bubbling.
The pasta is slippery.
Oh. We had, in one of the kitchens I worked at, a guy who would test the pasta by taking it out of the pot and throwing it at a wall.
Yeah, see, throw the spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
if it sticks, it's ready.
a fair indicator. Yeah. But I like eating it. Who wants to waste spaghetti? I think we're probably pretty close, though. Close enough.
Okay, so this sauce does not resemble any Alfredo sauce I've ever had.
Bean Fredo.
Bean Fredo. If not for the pig fat, I could actually call it faux Fredo. Time to check the pasta. It should require about 2 minutes. 3. Ooh, that pot is hot. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Going well. Going well.
All right, got that just about perfect.
Now, if you cooked your pasta and it's just at the al dente stage, and you have frozen vegetables, now is a good time to throw that in with your pasta.
Oh yeah, if you want some peas or
Yep, some nice peas and carrots. I'm just
broccoli for the
throw that in. It's going to be nice. It's the vegetables won't be mushy.
Exactly. And there's my Alfredo. Just going to let that chill out there because, as I said, the pasta was almost there. And that'll just give it a chance to marry. Infuse that pasta with a little bit of that cream sauce, suck a little water out of it, thicken things up a bit. And we're just going to let that chill for, I don't know, a minute or two at least before we go plate it.
And the bean sauce is just barely beginning to bubble, which is great.
I didn't actually used to like to cook it all because dishes.
Oh, I hate dishes. I hate dishes so much.
Well, I discovered if you do ABC, if you always be cleaning, always be putting things away, it's not that big of a deal. It really isn't.
Lola put lemon pepper and lemon pepper on her fish and Creole seasoning on Clint Jerry's. I love Creole seasoning on salmon.
I love Creole seasoning on so many things. It's not funny.
You know, it's wonderful just on toast with butter.
Potatoes.
Yes, potatoes.
Oh. Okay. Like in a baked potato, that is bomb diggity. All right.
Chicken is
I'm
done.
going to go plate some of this. Who knew that all these years of watching chopped would pay off in such a great way, right?
Well, not just chopped, but other ones too. I mean, Alton Brown, for years, I kept rewatching his shows.
Oh yeah, and Cutthroat Kitchen as well, because that's another one of those. You have to make this, and now I'm going to take your ingredients away, but you still have to make it.
Chicken is done. Chicken can go in your pasta, and all that lovely, fatty, garlicky goodness.
And of course, you really can never accidentally put too much pecorino on anything. It's just not possible.
Bragger.
You know, that's another point I kind of want to make. The stuff that comes in the little plastic thing that people buy to put on their spaghetti. I worked that out. We pay like maybe $2.50 for 8 ounces. That's $5 a pound.
Oh, wait, are you talking about the fake Parmesan cheese?
Well, it's real Parmesan cheese, but they load it up full of cellulose and stuff, and it never melts right.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's good in a pinch. If you just want some on top of your spaghetti or something like that, it's perfectly fine. But if you're making a sauce like this, you don't want to use that. It will get all gritty and grainy on you, and it just completely ruins the experience. But we get our pecorino and our Parmesan over at Costco, and I think it's like around $6.50 a pound. So for $1.50 more, you're getting a block of cheese, which you freshly grate. It's still got all those aromatics. It's not dried out. It's just a much better experience. I think it's far, far worth and a pound of cheese lasts a long time. So I'm of the mind that I'll spend the extra $1.50 to get the good stuff. We still have the other stuff around, but I really like the good stuff.
I love bowls for my pasta. I don't know why. I just do. Bread. Yeah, Lola, I'm going to wind up making my own bread here tomorrow. Pizza dough.
Well, that pizza dough makes a good bread. You just have to cook it at a lower temperature.
Yep.
I'm in my own light.
And this sauce turned out it's pretty hot, so it's a little thinner than I usually would like. But it's just spreading out quite nicely, and it smells very tangy because of that inclusion of the artichoke liquid. Garlic galore. Each person is going to have to add their own salt. I hardly ever put a whole lot of salt into a pasta dish.
Yeah, I'm very sparing with the salt as well. You can always add more. And you get enough salt from everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's possible to not get enough salt.
I'm just going to deliver this to our producer.
Oh man, that is so good. I'm licking the spoon off camera.
And I always have to be careful of my salt intake. My salt intake is usually too high. So I try not to add any. Oh, this actually turns into a very nice color with the beans when I start mixing it in. Chicken.
Yeah, from a flavor perspective, I can tolerate quite a bit of salt, but it's no good for the blood pressure. So. Okay, my beer is gone.
Your beer is gone.
Yeah, I licked the spoon and I got all that nice creamy garlic flavor in my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, those go together so well.
And I prefer kosher salt too.
Oh yeah, no, I'm as you saw, I was a big fan of the flake salt.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to start doing some flake salt too.
Yeah, you can make your own.
The
It's pretty
texture
simple.
of it is fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to make. You just take regular salt or kosher salt and wet it and dissolve it, and then just leave it to dry out on a flat surface, and it'll make those nice little flaky crystals the way you like them.
And you can mix it with other flavors too.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I went through a phase where I was in the different salts. I've got the Hawaiian black salt and the Himalayan pink salt, and I got to say, I'm just like regular salt. Well, actually, the Hawaiian salt's actually pretty nice. It's got a little bit of a smoky flavor to it.
McCormick's is good. The McCormick's mixes, they are actually pretty nice.
McCormick actually has some. Yeah, they have some pretty good. Is this McCormick? Oh no, this is Weber. I was picking up these Weber.
They started competing with McCormick's because they started selling them with the grills.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, I've got this one's Chicago steak. This one's roasted garlic and herb. These are pretty good. Oh, my go-to seasoning right now, though. Oh yes, 100%. Honey sriracha.
Oh, man, that sounds good.
Oh, it's so good. It really.
Yeah, when I want peppers, I reach into and I pull out my guajillo chilies and I grind some up. I make these into a salsa with balsamic vinegar and some water. Really good.
Yeah, no, the giant bags of chilies, we get those too. Over at the Asian market, I've got what are these? Oh, these are Diarbo chilies. We got these from Costco actually.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, we've had this for like 6 months, and you can see we've hardly put a dent in it. So
yeah, this bean sauce definitely needed salt. It's got a lovely fattiness to it, just like a really good Alfredo sauce should have. Very rich, very rich. I think next time I might put more leeks in.
Does that? What is that? What do the leeks actually give you in that? Is it like a little spice, little?
No, it gives it a slight onioniness.
Yeah.
That is not as prevalent as regular onion.
Right. Like a weak shallot.
Yeah, I don't necessarily want onion in an Alfredo type sauce. I usually prefer a tanginess to it, and the artichoke liquid did just that.
Well, for me, the Alfredo is all about the creaminess and the garlic, and everything else I could give a rat's ass about.
Definitely, the garlic is shining out.
Yes.
And the beans are giving it a real richness.
And that's the other thing too. Like I said, I put the garlic in increments, so you get some sweet garlic, you get some of that deep garlic flavor, and then you get a little bit of that bite. So like that last little addition I put right at the very end had almost no cook time on it, so you got that, that thing that gives you the garlic breath.
And actually, I really like the hops off of this with the beans.
Hops, that was something I tried to do for I don't know, a couple of years. I tried to marry actual hops with pizza because it's the hops in the beer that taste so good, that go with the pizza. But it's hops is an ingredient. It's just like you heat it up and it just turns this bitter, ugly thing.
Because it reacts to heat.
Yeah.
And different hops react to heat differently. And the second you start to heat up a hop, it releases the alpha acids.
I wonder if you sprinkled on some hops as but even that, I mean, like pelletized hops are bitter as all get out.
They are very bitter.
Yeah.
If you did just the barest sprinkle of maybe a floral fresh hop, it would be okay. It would have that.
Yeah, it would have to be the barest.
It would have that green flavor to it.
Well, I'm going to take this to my producer, and I'll be right back.
Oh, look! The producer's back with an empty bowl.
It's delicious.
You like it?
I really do.
Was it rich?
Yeah, it's got a lovely. It doesn't have the creaminess, but it's got the richness that you want in Alfredo. So
There you go.
yeah.
Are you looking for more?
Yes.
Oh, he's already on seconds.
He's already on seconds. I think the creaminess would come if I blended it a little more. But I have to confess, I have a thing for chunky sauces.
Well, the creaminess would also come if you put some cream in it.
That's true. That is true. And we will go back to cream someday.
Now, see, now that I've opened my my bottle of cream, I'm going to have to find other things to make with my cream. And by the way, if you are of the mind, and I'm on my second beer now, if you are of the mind that you're worried that you're not going to be able to get to the store and get milk, and you've got that extra shelf life that you can get on cream, you're worried that you're not going to be able to finish a whole thing of cream. Clotted cream. If you have cream that you're worried about it's going to go bad, make clotted cream. It's dead simple. You just your oven on its very lowest temperature. You put it in a baked dish, and really you want a lot of surface area. You don't really want it thick. You want it spread out, and you just put it in there and you leave it literally I think it's 12, 18 hours. And that evaporates all the liquids out and slightly caramelizes the top on the cream. It is it's 1,000 times better than butter. It's better than whipped cream. It's better than anything. It's the creamiest, most delicious thing you can put on any pastry or biscuit it's just so good.
You can also make farmer's cheese.
Yes, which is a lot like cream cheese.
Well, farmer's cheese is basically you're just removing all the whey.
Yep.
So it's a half a gallon of milk, quarter cup of lemon juice. Bring it up to 120 Fahrenheit on your stove. Stir the lemon juice in. Shut the heat off.
Yep. Cover.
And let it separate.
Yep.
And after you separate, you just clear off all the whey and save the whey.
Yep. Also good. It's a great marinade for chicken.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Is it salmon or salmon?
Salmon.
Or salmon?
No, that's salmonella.
Is it solder or solder?
Solder.
See, I know people that say solder. I know people that say salmon.
Let us not go there, because then we're going to go to GIF or JIF.
Jif already solved that for us. They came out with a jar of peanut butter that was spelled with a G. They were tired of hearing it. And you said, let us not go there. Is it lettuce or is it Edis? Is the L silent there? I don't know. We're just silencing our content.
It's all English to me, dude.
Is it English or English.
That was
Yeah.
weird.
Well, because the silent L in salmon. Although to some people it's not a silent L. Yeah, say what you just said.
Can you share the picture of the salmon?
So tasty and so perfect.
There you go. So tasty and so perfect.
Oh,
And now she's going back and the dog is following because he smells it too. We can't have that. So I don't know that this is even a competition or if we have a winner or a loser here. I think we both won. Okay. And the great thing is the cleanup is just 2 pots, a whisk, and a spoon. So
well, okay. I have significantly more, but
yeah, you got a blender to do.
Yeah, I have a blender and a couple of knives, and I'm gonna have to clean the cutting board again.
So as I was saying, I don't think this was. I mean, this was kind of a competition, but it wasn't. I don't think nobody won, nobody lost. I think we both won.
I do think we both won. I think it was really good.
And I did learn something about using beans in place of cheese. I never would have thought of that. So I can put that in my culinary cupboard for, when I don't have cheese. God forbid that day ever comes. Because you've seen my cheese drawer. I have a whole drawer in my refrigerator devoted to just cheese.
Yeah, absolutely. And
shelf stable dairy.
Yes, I drooled quite heavily.
Yeah. I rely heavily on cheese.
Of course, if the only milk you have is, like UHT milk, don't feel bad. Use it.
Yeah.
You may encounter textural problems, but you can fix that, as Sai said, with like a roux.
Yeah, and
basic flour and fat, and will pretty much thicken anything.
Well, and that's the thing is when I was talking about making clotted cream, every blog I've ever read says don't use ultra high pasteurized, homogenized cream because you won't get it to do what you want. I got to tell you, they're kind of wrong. You can get it 99% the way there, maybe 95% the way there. And again, if your cream's starting to turn or you're worried about it turning, make some clotted cream out of it. You can put that in the freezer. It'll last a long time.
Oh, a very long time. Yeah.
Fantastic flavor too.
Well, if we get another chance to do this, we may get another chance before April, maybe, or in April.
I'm available most weekends now, it seems. So we'll see.
Oh, here's one for you to chew on. Sugarless dessert.
Oh, wait. Okay. Wait. You do know I've played with keto, right?
Yes. Which is a good thing.
Oh, yeah. So where is it? I don't see all of them. I got like 4 different things. This is just the one that's handy. So yeah, I can do sugarless dessert.
Monk fruit, that's a good one. I usually use Splenda.
I have Splenda. I have monk fruit. I have Equal. I've pretty much got them all, and they all different. They all lend themselves to different recipes. Like I've tried the Splenda with cheesecake and was not happy with those results.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm going to try the monk fruit with cheesecake. That's why I bought this. Because cheesecake is keto. Well, mostly keto. The crust isn't. But you can get around the crust. That's another great thing about, and see, I can do mine sous vide, except it'll be a really long show.
Really long. No. Baking must be involved.
Oh, no.
Yes.
No.
It doesn't all have to be baked.
You don't understand. You can, what did you do to this? Okay. You can totally make cheesecake
Mm.
in sous vide.
Is that the 1,000-year-old cheesecake you showed me when we were there?
Possibly, yeah. It's from Christmas. It needs to go. We just don't want to do the dishes. But yeah, it's you can totally do a lot of things in the sous vide, and I like it for that. And plus,
Dr. Ima says he's looking forward to the sous vide show. Might be peaceful.
Yeah, you're just watching an immersion chiller go, or an immersion heater. Just
that would give us a lot of time to drink beer.
Yeah, maybe a little too much. Yeah, I really like sous vide for cooking a lot of things. It's brainless. I mean, I don't have to think about it. There are some things that you just can't do. Like you can't make bread. I mean, I suppose,
really?
Yeah, it'll come out all gummy because you don't have that Maillard reaction. Anytime you need a Maillard reaction or you need something to evaporate, you're not going to get that out of the sous vide because it's in a sealed system. That water's not going anywhere. Nothing's going to brown.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
But for other things, it works great. Makes a great steak. Makes great chicken wings. Oh my gosh, bacon. Ah. But even with the bacon, like you cook it sous vide, and it keeps all the flavor within the bacon. And then once it's cooked, you just put it in a skillet for like 30 seconds on the side to brown it up. So good, so tender, so good.
Oh, delightful.
Now I want bacon. Bacon would have taken that Alfredo to the next level.
You know what I want? Now I want rice pudding.
Ooh, rice. Oh,
I've never made rice pudding.
Rice pudding, but I'm thinking, what would I use to sweeten rice pudding if I was going to go no sugar? I mean, you almost don't need it with rice pudding because the rice is kind of sweet on its own. And wait, you're going to have...
I've had both sweetened rice pudding and unsweetened rice pudding, and I have to say they're both actually pretty good.
Yeah. When you say no sugar, you just mean no like granulated sugar, like no brown sugar.
No granulated sugar, no processed, regular commercialized sugar. You can use other sweeteners, or you can use no sweetener if you like.
Or
and at least one element of the dish must be baked.
Oh, dang. Okay. Okay, so we're going to leave it loose as to what that dish might be. Okay.
Yeah, we don't have to do a specific dish. That'll leave it far more open.
So sweetened condensed milk is on the table?
Yeah, sure. If you want to torture me, that's fine. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I could, I could totally.
I love condensed milk so much. I will not bring it in the house because I know the second it passes through my lips and over my tongue, I'm out to go get another case of it.
It's one of those things like you buy. It's another great shelf stable item. You can stick it on your shelf, leave it there for like a year.
Yeah,
and it's just good for so many things. But unfortunately, most of those things I shouldn't be eating. That's the thing. But wow, makes great fudge, pies. Man, there's so many things you can do with sweet condensed milk. Oh.
Makes lovely pudding. It does make lovely pudding.
Oh, pudding, yes. Anything where you want something creamy and sweet, which is 99% of your, desserts.
There are so many desserts that do depend on commercialized sugar that I want to show people that it's very possible to get away from that. Use alternative sugars or no sugar at all, and still have a perfectly acceptable dessert.
Yeah. And chocolate. Oh, you can do so much with chocolate and no sugar. It's actually pretty surprising.
That's true. Even chocolate from cocoa nibs. Cocoa nibs are actually I like eating handfuls of cocoa nibs. I'm one of those weird people.
And we live in a great time now where if you're looking at getting away from sugar some or just reducing it a bit, you can go out on the internet and look at some of the keto recipes that are completely sugar free, completely carb free. And some of those recipes aren't bad. Like the keto pancakes, not bad. I've had the gluten free pizza crust, and it's actually not bad, but it's a crappy dough. It's like you have to roll it. You can't spin the pizzas. But there's a cauliflower crust I want to try.
I wouldn't mind attempting rice flour to see for a thin crust and see if it comes out as crispy as my rice crackers do.
This last batch of pizza, that every time I make a batch of pizza, I make the dough just a little bit different because I like to experiment, and I like to find out what makes things better and what makes them not better. But one of the things I did was I substituted 5% of the flour in that recipe with tapioca flour.
Oh, excellent choice. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking it was going to make the crust more, or the actual bready part more kind of chewy and I don't know, goopy. I guess that's but it didn't. What it did instead was it made it more crisp.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't expect that, because I make the Brazilian cheese bread, and that all hinges on the tapioca flour and interactions with the oils in there, where it just kind of becomes all gummy and chewy, and it all feels like cheese, even though it's not all cheese.
I still have at least half a glass of beer left.
So I'm almost caught up with you. Well, actually, I'm ahead of you at this point.
You've lapped me, dude. You've lapped me.
Well, no, it's a 4.9% beer, so it's 5%. You're on 8 something.
Oh yeah.
So we're pretty close. I'm a few sips ahead. And I think, no, that was the whole can in there. Oh wow.
This, I have to say, this macaron beer has just gotten better and better since I originally tried it. I think it is better if you just take it off the shelf and drink it rather than put it in the fridge.
Some beers are like that. They really open up. Well, that's commodity beer. They want it ice cold, because once it's warm, it just doesn't taste good. And I'm going to tell you, if your beer tastes good warm, it's going to taste good cold. But if the other is not necessarily true, if it tastes good cold, it may not taste good warm. So,
if you're going for something like Iron City beer, don't drink this warm.
Is that the White Claw?
No, Iron City. It used to be Pittsburgh Brewing. Oh no, it's still Pittsburgh Brewing. Brewed in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. There's a 4.7% premium lager that is in the the generalized, here, have a 6-pack for $4 kind of thing. It's okay. It goes well with a sandwich. Not going to say anything bad about it. There's nothing bad about it. It's just not, it's not a woohoo beer.
Yeah, it's that's my Tiger.
But don't drink it warm. Don't drink it warm. Put it in the fridge.
Yeah, Tiger. I don't think you'd want to drink warm either. Tiger beer. It's I think Taiwan, Singapore maybe.
Thailand. Yeah, it's a Thai beer, and that, oddly enough, we have other Thai beers here, but we don't get Tiger.
Yeah, I have to kind of hunt around for it, but the surprising thing is the place that I keep finding it is Walmart, of all places. They have
Walmart.
They have a 4-pack of, I want to say they're 20 ounces for like $4.
Okay, I'm not going to actually poo-poo that, because Walmart in San Diego, they must have to carry a very wide range of products. Here, not so much.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen anyone except the people that work at the Thai restaurant from Thailand in Coos Bay.
Yeah, the funny thing is when I do find it at Walmart, it's a single 4-pack, and that's all they have. Just one 4-pack.
One 4-pack, and you get it.
Yeah, and I buy it. Yeah, because it's $4 for 4 20-ounce beers. They're like I want to say they're like 4.7% or 4.5. They're not heavy on the beer, on the alcohol.
Are
and
you single-handedly keeping the Tiger brand alive?
Possibly. Well, no, I mean, I can buy it at the Vietnamese store, right? But
Yeah, we don't have Vietnamese store either. I bemoan our lack of a broad Asian store here immensely.
yeah,
I mean, being able to go into one of the Asian stores in West Covina was it was a beautiful experience. I remember being able to shop in a nice big Asian store, and it just the range of different products is fantastic. Yeah. I miss it so much.
Yeah, it's Asian market after Asian market after Asian market just north of me. It's like straight up and down that road. It's all restaurants, markets, that sort of thing. I mean, there's Japanese store, there's a giant Korean store. Oh my gosh, I buy so much good stuff there. And I hardly ever go. I should go more often. But I can get it at the Vietnamese store just down the street, but they charge an arm and a leg up for it there. So for $4 for 4 20-ounces, it's not an offending beer, not an offensive beer. It's very mild. It's when you just want to sit and have a beer and not have to think about your beer that much.
That is true. I think we have Singa beer here.
Yeah, they have that as well at the Vietnamese place, but I never see that one at Walmart. I only see Tiger. That's the only. Actually, I take that back. I also see. It's not. Begins with an A.
Asahi.
There you go. I see that one, and I've had that before.
I prefer Sapporo.
Sapporo, yeah, I will see Sapporo in various and sundry places. I think actually I can get that at just about any regular.
Yeah, you can pretty much get that anywhere, including at like Safeway and Fred Meyer.
The one I'm looking to find because I haven't had it in years is OB.
OB.
Orion Brewing. It's a Okinawan brewing company. It's Okinawa or might be Japan. I don't know. But yeah, when you station on Okinawa, OB is the go-to beer because a Budweiser will cost you $1. Well, that was it probably cost you way more. Actually, I take that back. I think it was $5 now that I think about it. I think Budweiser cost you $5, but an OB was $1.
Oh, OB is now owned by Japan.
Yeah. It was funny too because
no, it's not owned in Okinawa anymore. It is still based in Okinawa.
Yeah, the first time I had OB was an interesting experience. We went to this bar/noodle shop, and I got a pull of it on draft, and it was the craziest thing because I swear to God, there's a Monty Python skit about this. I swear to God, it tastes like fish.
Really?
It definitely had the aroma of the ocean.
Oh, okay. Okay. So an ocean quality to it, not necessarily a fishy taste.
It was a little bit of a fishy taste, but that may have just been the aroma because it really, I mean, in Okinawa, a lot of the small places are fishing villages, right?
Yeah.
I was really surprised by that. And Monty Python had a comedy album out for a while that one of the commercials that they stuck into their album was, I don't remember the name of the beer, but with the surprising taste of fish.
Oh, God.
And it just sounded so gross, but then I actually had it. And it's not unpleasant. It's just kind of unexpected. That's, I'm not a big fish fan, but
maybe they're using wild yeast.
No, I think it was just the water that they were using to brew with, or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's possible. Homemade comfort food.
Yeah.
And as I have been saying this whole week, comfort food is now legal, people. Comfort food is totally legal. Go at it. Pastas, breads, desserts,
Always,
you
always
name it.
legal in my house. It's my only rule is you have to make it yourself. You know.
Well, I think that's probably going to about do it for this show because I'm pretty tired. I may go feed the birds and take a nap.
Yeah, and I'll throw some pictures up and drive. I got B-roll, like just pictures.
Oh, thank you so much. That would be wonderful. And we
Yeah.
should have this out as soon as possible. Hopefully soon. And don't forget to keep an eye out because we will attempt to do that dessert show soon. Because who knows how long this is going to last, and we all got to cook.
Dessert. I'm seriously thinking about the dessert now, and I have some ideas. I actually have some pretty good ideas that just even normally will not require any sugar. So I don't even have to cheat with the monk fruit.
Although cheating is allowed. Cheating is allowed. Cheating, with artificial sweeteners.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I mean, who's gonna have this on hand? I mean, this is probably. I wouldn't have this on hand if I wasn't
Doing the keto thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, like your average person on the street is probably, although I got to tell you, you can probably still pick this up at the store. Whereas a pound of sugar, might have trouble finding.
That's very true. You actually might have trouble picking up sugar. There was no, there was no sugar last time I went looking.
Yeah, our bake aisle was just completely empty. And it's a good thing that I make pizza and I have plenty of, bread flour on hand. Otherwise, I'd go mad.
Yeah.
Gotta have flour. Gotta have flour.
Well, don't forget to check out all the rest of our podcasts on SoundCloud, and our regular show will be back after April 1st because I'm in the middle of submitting a book to an editor, and that kind of takes over my entire life, and I ignore friends and family. I'm sorry, Cy.
Yeah, the whole time.
I consider you more family than friend now, so I'm sorry if I ignore you.
Yeah, the whole time Linda was here in San Diego, she was just writing on a little notepad. Wouldn't say anything, just jotting ideas down. Yeah.
Oh my God, this would be great in a sci-fi.
With an SY, like the channel, but not sucky that way.
Yeah. And we should be able to talk to you again soon as we figure out when we're going to do the dessert show. Keep an eye out on our Twitter at BGE. And we will see you again very soon. Thanks so much, Cy.
Yep.